Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden. Oh boy, and today's gonna be a day. So, I am just about to head out to the movie theater to watch Avengers: Infinity War. It's a weird feeling. It's hard to believe it's here after so many years of build-up and all of this. The Guardians of the Galaxy are going to meet the Avengers, Spider-Man's going to be there, Doctor Strange is going to be there, Black Panther's going to be there. Holy crap, what am I in for? So, this is just a little preamble, a little bit of some forethoughts and predictions before I go and see it, and then I'll be back after I see it and give you my thoughts on the movie. I assume it's going to be good. I mean, at this point, the MCU is just this seal of quality that no other franchise has at the moment. I don't expect this out of any Star Wars movie. I'm a lot more dubious about those these days. DC is a bit of a mess. I mean, I don't know what else to call the Justice League. And Fox's future is questionable. Not in terms of quality, they've been doing great lately, but who knows what's going to happen with them and Disney going forward, or what the plan is for their movies. So we'll see in that front. Nevertheless, this movie sounds very exciting, and I was thinking about how most studios wouldn't be able to handle this many characters or teams. And I've heard a lot of hot takes on Twitter where it's like, oh, I'm not interested in this. There's so many characters at this point that it's just not for me. I don't know. I feel like people are just making excuses. There's going to be a lot of cynicism and hand-wringing about franchises and the power of Disney. The fact of the matter is these movies are great. They're a lot of fun and have a lot of passion behind them. Even if you're not a comic book fan, I feel most people who look at these movies objectively can appreciate that they're mostly just fun and inoffensive films. Pretty high hopes for this one. It's by the same people who did Captain America: Civil War and Winter Soldier, so I expect them to do good work here. I imagine it's going to be a little crowded, like in Civil War, and there's probably going to be a lot of, plot things that you could theoretically hash apart and pick apart like a nitpicky person or something like that, but I have a feeling those aren't going to bother me while watching the film. They certainly didn't for Civil War, and this is going to be something else. Beyond that, I'm not sure who's going to live or die or what's going to happen in that regard. We'll see. I've managed to completely avoid all promotional material for this in terms of clips and trailers. I've seen little itty bits of the trailer and mostly silent little segments of the clips, but I managed to avoid the actual trailer itself. Mostly because I try to avoid those as best I can these days. They can give away a lot inadvertently, or even give you an idea of what the film's going to be like in terms of shape or scenes and settings. I know very little beyond who's in it and the general setup of the plot, the idea of the Infinity Gauntlet and what's going to happen along those lines. I've predicted someone's going to die, but in these last few days I have a feeling maybe they're going to surprise us. Not that I'm sure there's going to be stakes and some sort of death, and we'll see how much I eat these words, but maybe not the major death I was expecting, or maybe so. I have heard from people who have seen the film that it's going to be a long walk until Avengers 4, so I have a feeling it's going to be awesome, and yeah, see you guys in a few hours. Well, holy cow, that was awesome! Alright, so I'm back from the theater, and I really enjoyed my experience watching Avengers: Infinity War. Well, you got my expectations going into this thing, and honestly, they were blown out of the water. I expected a lot out of this movie. I thought it was going to be great, and it exceeded that expectation. What I did not expect out of this movie was how damn smart it was going to be about so many things. So yes, there was quite a bit of death in this movie, but don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I think I am actually going to make a spoilery review a couple days from now, but for now we're not going to discuss any spoilers. But you don't have a story or a movie with Thanos in it without there being a fair share of death. Even then, it's not what I expected at all, and I'm really impressed with what they did. Yeah. But then there's other aspects of this movie I also didn't expect. So I talked about how chaotic I thought it might be and how busy it might be with so many characters, but I really didn't feel that. Everyone felt like they had a good place. A lot of the supporting characters from various franchises only really appeared in 1 or 2 scenes, and by and large we focused on these different smaller groups of characters working together towards specific goals. And those characters were in really interesting places and had very cool dynamics with different team members. So the MVP team for sure is Rocket Raccoon and Thor. Those two are awesome together, but there's a lot of weird little combinations like that throughout. The other big surprise is how compelling Thanos is. I really didn't think much of it. I thought he looked weird in the trailers, especially with that, like, his hat and helmet and stuff. He's awesome. He's super compelling. I'll be interested to see what other reviewers say about this, but I loved it. He was very thoughtful and sincere and had a lot going on behind him. He's still a villain. He's still one hell of a bad guy, but I got where he's coming from and why he's doing what he's doing. Man, it's so good. It's so smart how they use his name, like Thanos the Mad Titan, to inform his character in a very different way from the comics, yet the goals of both versions of the character are the same. He wants to destroy half the universe. But his reasoning is a lot more interesting in the movies. So yeah, it's one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen. It's one of the best MCU movies. There's all these different great little character moments and arcs. Some of the humor falls flat. I saw in the little preview things they do at the beginning of the movie, Kevin Feige was talking about how humor to him was a big tentpole for how this kind of big crossover would work. That definitely shows in the final product, but I can tell you I didn't find every joke funny. And while large groups of the audience were laughing at certain points, I was not. Yeah, other bits made me chuckle, and there was other parts that other people weren't laughing at in the audience that I found really funny. When you watch this movie, if you haven't seen it yet, pay attention to what a lot of the characters are doing in the background when they're not talking. There's so many great moments with stuff like that. I was even surprised that like some characters don't appear because clearly they're taking a back seat in this story, while others are front and center that I wouldn't have expected. It's so good. It's so good. You have to see this movie if you're at all a fan of the MCU stuff. And you really don't need to be caught up on every single MCU movie to know what's going on. I feel at this point you need to be at least somewhat informed with some of them, but not all of them. And if you're following it all, it's so great. And if you're a comic book fan, it's even better. The Black Order's done really well, even if their appearances vary and aren't super long in terms of screen time, but no one gets a ton of screen time because there's so many characters. It's okay though, we've been following these guys for 10 years, and they deserve their victory lap and everything that comes with it. And you know, I was talking about this crowd. Pretty crowded audience, there's a lot of popcorn rifling at the beginning or whatever. That ending, I would say the theater was about halfway full, which is pretty good for a Thursday night when I'm recording all of this. You could hear a pin drop at that ending. Everyone was just silent. I could hear some sniffling near the very end, like when the credits started. It's going to say a lot about the people who watch it more than the movie itself, because the movie is entertaining and is as entertaining as fun as you will let it be, and as much as you give it a chance to be. So if you don't walk into this movie wanting to have a good time, I doubt you will. Okay, well that's everything. Let me know if you guys have seen it. Let me know what you guys think of Avengers Infinity War in the comment section below. What an event. I can't wait until whatever they call Avengers 4. Oh, it's going to be so long. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.